Hello. So it's been a while since I've done a video, and I figured I should do one because things have been moving really fast. But after I came back from the drop off at Big Bend, I ended up my car ended up breaking down. I don't know where I am on these videos. I'm not gonna lie, but my car broke down, and I was pretty much planted at home for a couple of weeks, but it was okay because I got really sick from the journey out there and probably the moon dust and everything, and I was puking up blood even for a few days, and wasn't my normal self, or I was my normal self if you want to count the last year normal, whatever. But I ended up just having to take a break for myself after taking the media out there to the pipeline protesters. And I came back, and I'm not going to lie, a lot of that pipeline stuff kind of was dissolving, and has dissolved in a way. Oh, excuse me. There are, or that particular pipeline, at least there are other pipelines that are, they're being contested and whatnot. But funny enough, whatever, funnily, that's not a word. But funny enough, I made a connection through the pipeline with this guy named Kevin Canto, and he is a big little, I shouldn't say little, but he's a big activist here. He's young. That was rude, sorry. But he is a young guy who he said was pretty much activated with Bernie and woke up to a lot of this stuff. I mean, he's 23, you know, so not too long ago he was in high school. So anyways, he with all the activism that he's done and all the different things that he's done, he ended up feeling this call to start a peace rally. And he hit me up and about 30 other people that are part of all different kinds of groups in Solidarity Now, Veterans for Peace, who I worked with tonight, the Lights, North Texas Lights Brigade or something like that. North Texas Lights Brigade, yeah. And I mean, just to name a few, I can't even think of all the organizations that he was working with or that he's collaborated us with. But he reached out to me. Well, I guess I should back up. He reached out to the No Dapple Facebook thread or whatever and asked what was going on that weekend, because they were all sharing a lot of information about protests and whatnot that were happening, very political people. And I didn't think about it. I just figured since we were in a No Dapple thread that I could mention the sweat, and I felt called to mention a sweat that was happening at Kathy's that weekend. And he was interested. So he came out to the sweat and he met Kathy, and it was a really beautiful, organic kind of experience. He is going to end up sharing some of his gifts, which is filming and whatnot that he's learning, and help Kathy in that way. And help the church out there, which is a real blessing. Oh, excuse me, they need that. It's like midnight right now, and I've just had the best day ever. I've been having the best days. So anyways, he went with me to Kathy's, and then the Wednesday after, that was like 2 weeks ago, I guess. And then last Wednesday, it was wild. I had, I go to my chiropractor every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and he's been popping my back and readjusting me and aligning me back to normal. My back has been out of whack for over a year now. I was in an accident right after I was diagnosed with cancer, leaving the hospital, well, the next day or something, I don't remember, and, yeah, it was about the next day, and, my doctors didn't allow me to do my adjustments until after treatment, and so I started those, this past January, I guess, or December, I don't know. Well, anyways, I knew, like, he pulls my head, you know, and every time he pulls my head, nothing happens. And I knew that when it did happen, that was going to open something up, like something was about to start, or about to, like, come into my world, or my world is about to change, or something, right? Well, last Wednesday, he popped my neck in that way. And it didn't just, like, pull. It pulled, like, so many things. It was so trippy. And it felt weird, and Danae was laughing at my faces. Well, anyways, that day, Kevin Cantu reached out to me and basically said I was creative as fuck. So with my Super Love Hero stuff, because Kathy kind of talked me up when we went there, and talked us up as the Super Love Heroes. And he he asked me how I could make a peace rally more appealing to people. Well, I'm not saying I'm not a protester, but I'm not as active as a lot of these protesters that are in protest mind mode. Well, I figured, why not make a peace rally that has music and has booths and events, like informative booths, for these different organizations like In Solidarity Now and Veterans for Peace and whatnot, all these different organizations that are backing us. Give them an opportunity to come out and have a presence. The presence that they should have on our media, but they don't have. I figured we could have, music of local artists, maybe even artists out there painting stuff for peace. Whatever we could do to entice people to come in and pay attention, because sometimes people are turned off by politics. But if we're not necessarily making this all about politics and more about peace and awareness and giving the truth to people about what's happening out there in the wars. Because let's be real, our media isn't doing that. Our media is filling us with a bunch of agenda bullshit, really. And let's be real, this agenda is basically formed by an empire who's profiting off of this war. This war is really about pipelines. And just like we had this tyranny and this war on our own lands for the pipeline up in Standing Rock, Syria's no different, so we want people to know the truth, people to know what's really going on out there, and people to know the facts, that this oil business, these oil, I don't know, mafia men is basically what they seem like, have a lot of control over so many things. And I mean, our media outlets, our government, and just to name a few, and it's very disturbing, and people need to know the truth. People need to know what's going on. So this peace rally is going to come together, and it is coming together in a really great way. I applied for permits yesterday with somebody, and we're waiting to hear back and hopefully get that ball rolling really soon. We have a lot of things going on right now, and they're all just coming to me. I haven't made any of it happen for myself. It's just, it's time. The alignment and the timing is now. But I ended up being asked to join, and then the next thing you know, they needed a nonprofit, and I offered my church, and now the Trinity Native American Church is sponsoring this peace rally, and I'm praying every day for it to come together in a good way, and it seems to be so far. There has been a little bit of drama and a little bit of miscommunication, but we're choosing to learn from it, and we will. And I got to be on the radio, and even if it was a misunderstanding, and I probably won't be on it again, it was a really fun experience, and I met some beautiful and amazing people through that. And then today, I totally went with the flow again. We decided to meet today to check out Dealey Plaza, because we wanted to see if that was going to be a good location for our event. We did apply for that place, but because it was the top pick at the time, but hopefully the city will give it to us. And when we went today, it was perfect. There was this plaque there written by JFK that was all about how it's like pretty much our personal responsibility to make sure that we all protect our rights and our freedoms. And I mean, it's way more elaborate than that, but it was just very symbolic, very beautiful, there was a nice little sign and a confirmation that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. And and then, of course, I remember seeing the North Texas Light Barricade people at the No Dapple. They did a really cool No Dapple sign that caught my eye, and I even put it up on our Dallas Stands with Standing Rock page. And well, I prayed to meet them. I prayed to be able to, whatever. Just I didn't even care if I was one of the people doing it. I just wanted to meet them. Well, after we did the Dealey Plaza thing, somebody had mentioned before, but I really wasn't paying attention, but they mentioned about going and basically getting us to go to this tax protest where people were picketing or like, you know, holding their signs up right outside of the post office where everybody was filing their taxes. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a tax person. I like that kind of stuff. And not in the way that I like taxes. I mean, I believe, even though I know taxation technically isn't theft because we surrender to it, it is theft because they're taking our hard-earned money in a sense, in many ways. And then they're turning around and using it for wars, never-ending wars that a lot of these assholes are profiting from. So yeah, I got a problem with taxation. I try to get back as much as I can. I have this little nickname, and I like to call myself the tax bandit, with friends and family and people, because I teach them how they can empower themselves to get back everything that they deserve. And legally. Nothing's done illegally, you know? I mean, we can easily, people don't know, but we should all be entrepreneurs of some sort. I do taxes, I run a nonprofit, I do a lot of things on the side, and I used to be somebody who worked for a paycheck that, you know, had deductions taken out and whatnot. So I had a nice fat chunk that was going to the federal withholding every single time. Well, technically, you know, you don't get all that back at the end of the year. They keep a big portion of it. But if you had your own business at home and were an entrepreneur, knew your powers, and could, and I don't know, that's what I do. I inspire people to start their own businesses, do their own thing, and then I teach them how to build up an office or set up an office space in their home, since now they're an entrepreneur running their own business. And then I teach them how to maximize all the deductions based on their own new business, and take advantage of basically being able to build themselves up the way that the system was built to, you know, and designed for us to build ourselves up. You know, a lot of people don't necessarily have that kind of knowledge, and knowledge is power, and I try to give that to people. So when I heard about this event and I saw that it was about taxes and about no more spending our tax dollars on the war, that's something I could totally stand behind, and I was on board. And then I found out it was run by the, what are they called? Veterans for Peace. And again, I'm all about supporting the veterans. I'm not against war because I'm against our veterans, and I want people to be very clear about that. I believe that what our veterans do is is noble, honorable, and sacred. I mean, they're defending us, they're fighting for our freedoms, but there comes a point in time when let's be real, this is a war that we've been fighting for many, many, many years. I mean, longer than any standing war ever. Just because the media doesn't call it that doesn't mean that's not what it is. And that's exactly why we need why we need to do this, is because the media is manipulating all of us with their words, with their limited information, and with the information that they're told to spoon feed us. So we want to empower people with the truth. And I feel so blessed to be a part of all of this. When I showed up tonight, I literally just thought I was protesting taxes in a way against the war. However, it ends up, I met these people with the Dallas or the North Texas Lights Brigade, and they were also taking pictures for different hashtags that they're about to start putting out there, which of course now I'm a part of, and I'm totally going to include with our rally stuff. Excuse me. So that was really cool. I got to be present for this hashtag that is that will say hashtag no $54 billion. No, wait. No more $54 billion for war. That's one of them. Hashtag no more $54 billion for war. Another one, sorry, we did a few and mixed them around, so I'm trying to remember. Hashtag no more money for war. And then I think that was it. I don't remember. I think we did that 2 different ways and then some silly ways. And but yeah, I mean, I actually, when I saw them at the No Dapple, I prayed to meet them, and I thought it was really beautiful, the people with the North Texas Light Barricades. When I saw what they had done for Dapple, I prayed to meet them then, and I never expected to be doing this, and I never even expected for me to end up volunteering and helping and being a part of them. But tonight they told me I was, and I was initiated into the North Texas Lights Brigade, and I felt like this was an answer to my prayer. in an even better way than I even imagined. I just wanted to meet them. I didn't want to become a part of them. And I definitely didn't realize that I would be holding up one of their light signs. And I, believe it or not, got behind the two favorite things of mine right now. The letter B, because I'm all about just being. I'm not controlling anything anymore. I'm letting the flow and the universe and spirit and God and all of that lead me. And I'm learning, or I learned, what it is to truly trust in God and flow with the universe and the signs of love. And I feel so blessed because it just keeps taking me to the coolest places. I followed my heart to that trip in Big Bend. I knew when I first met Desiree that I was supposed to help her. And then when it all fell into place in that way, and I was taking her to start her journey and her documentary of these pipelines and everything that's wrong in this world, basically, and her journey as an independent media source. You know, the ones that aren't paid to tell you what they're supposed to, but are doing it because they love to just, well, because they know it's the right thing to do and they know we need it. And they're following their hearts too. But I know that following my heart to her is what brought me to this. If I hadn't done that, then Kevin wouldn't have seen me for who I was. I overheard him and Kathy. I wasn't in the conversation. I was just eating, but I heard him telling her that he saw me. And a bunch of people say that they were on board and they were willing to do stuff, but I was the only one who actually did. And I gained his respect in that way. And then I heard Kathy talking me up so much. I've only ever heard one other person really talk about me in that way. My friend Kyle, who's not even really a friend anymore. He doesn't even talk to me. He didn't even reach out to me this past year while I was sick. So I don't even know what he is, to be honest. But he used to talk really, really good about me. And I hadn't heard anybody really talk that good about me in a long time in that way. And I mean, they tell me things to my face a lot, and I appreciate that. And I'm not saying nobody ever talks good about me. People all the time praise me for the things that I do, and I appreciate that. I really do. But I'm not gonna lie, I have a hard time accepting it. I guess I just didn't really, I don't know. I don't know how to receive that in a lot of ways. But when I hear somebody telling somebody else things that I do and talking about me in a good way, that makes me feel good. And I know that there's something wrong with me there because I should feel good when people talk me up too, but instead I feel embarrassed. I feel like, no, you know, you're awesome too, and I feel this need to, like, just shower them with the love that they're showering me when I should really be accepting it and enjoying it just as much as I do when I hear somebody telling somebody else about me. But we all need work on ourselves, right? And I know that I need to love myself more. I'm working on that. And I am every day. So anyway, that love, I know, is what's bringing me to this place where I'm at now. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I'm becoming more and more of who I'm supposed to be. I'm stepping into my power. I'm stepping into my purpose. I've known for a really long time that I was supposed to do something with this church. I've known that I was supposed to bring something big. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know what yet. But this all feels right. And I pray that if this is it, that I do it all in a really good way. And I don't mess anything up, because this is so important. This world has forgotten what peace is and love. And it's definitely forgotten how to follow its heart instead of its mind or its fears or its convenience or its hate. We're so lost. And I'm telling you, the heart is where it's at. If you can't follow that, you're never going to truly be happy. And if you're not happy, then what's the point of all this? It took me fighting for my life and beating but it took me going through a struggle that I would never want anybody else to go through to finally find my place of control and happiness and know my worth. Now I'm working so hard every day to own that, because I don't want to be somebody who's lost or somebody who's stuck like I was. I was stuck before in a place where I wasn't appreciated and I wasn't understood, and I sure as hell was not honored. Not for all the work I did. Shit. I put in more hours than most people there, more time, more dedication. Shit, people quit on this in the middle of important projects. People walked out and didn't even stick around to help see them through, but I did. And I still got thrown to the curb. And when I needed support the most. And that's okay, because that job, that piece of me, that wasn't me. And even if they were wrong in what they did, and even if they were heartless, I gained so much in the process. I gained my heart, my soul, and my freedom, my purpose, my happiness. I gained so many things from them cutting me off. So I'm lucky that they did, in a sense. But I try not to damn myself, but I really do question myself as to why I let it drag on that long, and why I let it take me that long to finally let go, and why I had to be pushed that far. And all I can think of is fear. I don't want to be somebody who lives in fear anymore. I don't want to be somebody who follows it either. And I sure as hell don't want to be somebody who thinks one way, speaks one way, and feels another. I want all of it to match. I want my heart and my mind and my voice to all speak the same language. Too many of us feel one way, but don't ever follow it. We just surrender to the bullshit, surrender to the convenience, surrender to the fears. I don't ever want to be that person again, because that person was lost. That person was miserable in a sense. And in a lot of ways, I am a happy person. I can be happy in darkness, but I wasn't fulfilled, and I sure as hell wasn't me. And I just want to be me, and I want to live my purpose. And I know that we don't live that unless we follow our hearts. So that's all I'm doing from now on.